Hello guys, I'd like to show you the work I've done on the post-processing and just to give you an idea how it works. Now let's assume we have already a mechanical analysis with a mesh and a result. Now what we do first is to create a post-processing pipeline from the result object. So now here we have our pipeline, and what it does is it copies over the mesh and the result. The cool thing in 30K is that you copy the mesh by elements, so now it copied tetrahedron and there are all kinds of elements supported. Furthermore, you can add arbitrary data and arbitrary amounts of data to a mesh or to a data object. So now have a look here on our pipeline. We can visualize it. So now I choose surface, and here you see the firstest of the elements, and you can color it by all the copied data. You see here we copy the stress, which is a scalar data, and the displacement, which is vectorial data. So just do the stress, and now you see the colors. And if you choose the vectorial data, you can also choose if it's visualized by component or by magnitude. Though in general here you can add data to cells and to points, and also to the whole data set, so that you can have any kind of number of data added to the mesh. So now how the post-processing works, this is basically by adding filters. Here our pipeline, and now we have here options for filters. And okay, let's start with a clip filter. So with this we hide the pipeline and add a clip filter. Clipping works in this filter by functions. Currently I've implemented a plane and a sphere. Now use the sphere. Okay, here it comes. This is our clip function. Let's show the surface of the clipped data set. Okay, and here you see everything outside of the surface is kept, and inside the surface of the sphere is omitted. Now let's display it again. Okay. Yeah, and now we see elements, or the tetrahedral elements are clipped as full elements. So either an element is inside or is used or is not used. And you can also see this is pretty performant. You can move the function around or the sphere around, and it will clip in real time, which is actually pretty nice. Now of course sometimes you don't want to have these the full element clipping, but you really want to have the data right on the sphere. This is actually pretty nice. This is also supported by 30K. You can just say here, cut cells, and now the data is evaluated right on the sphere. And this is highly interesting, because to do this, the elements, the tetrahedral elements, need to be interpolated. So with the sphere cuts the element right through, not at the nodes. Still, here we have data available everywhere, and not only where the cell nodes are. So this means the cells are interpolated, and the values are calculated inside the cells where the function really is, and then displayed. And this is interesting because this kind of interpolating is element dependent. So a tetrahedral element must be differently interpolated than a quadratic tetrahedral element, and okay, of course 2D difference in 3D. And yeah, this is a pretty powerful feature of VDK, that you copy over elements, and these elements are interpolated with the real or with the standard FEM element functions. And this is highly powerful, because then all the filters available work with all kinds of elements. So this filter works also with 2D and also with, I don't know, quadratic tetrahedrons, and not only with normal ones. And yeah, all this interpolating is done correctly with the correct elements. And this is highly powerful. So okay, now this was one filter. Another example of a filter is, yeah, the warp filter. Basically what you may want to do is to show the displacement on the sphere, on this cylinder, which was calculated. So let's hide it and add a warp filter. This is exactly what the warp filter do. You can choose a vector by which the nodes are moved. So okay, let's add a vector here, and now we can move our mesh. The nice thing again, as you see, it was clipped away, and all the data was interpolated on the new to the new elements, also the vectorial data. Now you can also move the new nodes and the new elements, and the vectorial displacement data has been interpolated to these new nodes too. So this is pretty nice. So another nice example I've implemented is again a clip, but a clip by scalar value. So here now you can choose the available scalar data, so no vectorial data of course, and then you can say, okay, I only want to see a certain kind of values, so clip away everything that's higher than a certain number or lower than a certain number. It's right for you to choose, and you can visualize how, for example, the stress. We can visualize pretty nice how the stress is distributed in your cylinder. So do it like this. Yeah, and as you also see, of course, every filter works with the output of the last filter. So here we have the clipped and warped cylinder, and this scalar clip filter works exactly on this data set. So you can connect arbitrary amounts of filters, which is pretty cool, because then you have a certain set of filters and have nearly endless possibilities on how you post-process your results. So make it like this. One last thing I implemented is a cut filter. So of course VDK offers a tremendous amount of filter. I only have implemented 4 now, because I don't have endless time. But yeah, you can do all kind of stuff. So what this filter does, it adds a cut function. Now I choose choosing a plane, a function which goes right through the data set and which extrapolates or interpolates the data right on this plane. So this is also a very good way to visualize your data. So maybe stress is more interesting. So now I think this interpolation functionality is highly important, because for one, you can visualize the data not only at the nodes where it is calculated, or the cells if it's cell data, but everywhere. So this is pretty powerful. Also imagine you have for example a result, so generate a pipeline, visualize it, then you change your mesh a bit because the mesh was not ideal, and recalculate again, and now you really want to compare the results. This is basically not possible because the nodes are different, the mesh is different, so you don't really have the data at the same positions. But with VDK, for example, you can use the data of the first result, interpolate it to the nodes of the second, and then do a direct comparison. For example, subtract certain values and see what is the difference, and all this kind. Now I did not have implemented the calculation filter, but you can, of course, simply add functions which manipulate the data, for example the stress, or multiply stress with displacement if you want to, or extract components, and all the stuff you can do, highly complex things. Yeah. So, and here you see, this is now our result. We have multiple clipped and warped surface, which shows the stress here right in our cylinder. And I think, yeah, another nice thing of this approach is that now if I would recalculate the analysis, the old results would be not available anymore, and the old mesh would be not available anymore, so comparisons would actually not be possible. But here the pipeline will stay, it has all data available, so you can have multiple results, compare them with each other. And I think that's a highly valuable approach, and highly powerful approach. Thanks for listening.